You're listening to the Digest This podcast, and I'm your host, Bethany Cameron. Bone density changes over time, and as we age, this topic is on people's radar even more. Throughout childhood, adolescence, and early adulthood, the bones absorb nutrients and minerals, gaining strength. But as a person enters their late 20s, they reach their peak bone mass, meaning they will no longer gain bone density and may even begin to lose it. In menopause in particular, a person becomes susceptible to osteoporosis, which is a condition that weakens the bones much so that they can easily break. But even if you're not menopausal, pregnancy, autoimmune diseases, and even gut issues can play a role in bone loss due to lack of nutrients. And in pregnancy, the nutrients from the bones in the mother may go towards the baby if the mother is not getting the proper nutrition. There are several factors why a woman may experience bone loss, and sadly, there's no way of knowing it until it's too late and you fracture or break a bone or hip. Of course, you can get DEXA scans to see where you're at, but typically, if you don't have a reason, insurance will not cover it until you're of the menopausal age. But regardless, if you are pre or post-menopausal, we should all be caring for our bones to prevent bone density loss. And if you're already battling this issue or know someone who is, then this episode is even more important. You guys know I'm really picky about what goes into my body, so that's why I choose Element's Raw Unflavored Electrolyte Mix, which contains just 3 simple ingredients. No maltodextrin, no natural flavors, no stevia, no monk fruit, just 3 simple ingredients that are all contributing to our electrolyte balance. And right now, Element is offering my listeners a free sample pack with any purchase. That's 8 single-serve packets for free with any Element order. So you just have to go to DRINKLMNT.com/digest to get this offer. Element also has a no questions asked refund policy, so you can try it totally risk-free. If you don't like it, they will give you your money back, no questions asked. Go to DRINKLMNT.com/digest to get this amazing offer. All right, guys, today we are covering natural ways to improve bone density, as well as if they can be too late to increase bone density, depending on what they are. And I know a lot of people first think of HRT, and that can certainly be a tool to help with bone loss and bone density. But in today's bite of knowledge, I wanted to specifically omit HRT in case you are on the fence and wanted to try some alternatives before opting for the medication route. So this is, again, stuff that can help with bone density beyond the HRT route. So First off, weightlifting and strength training. Studies show that weightlifting and strength training can help promote new bone growth and maintain existing bone structure. A 2018 review of exercise and bone density in people with osteoporosis suggests that weight-bearing aerobic exercise alone can limit bone mass loss, while strengthening and resistance exercise can increase muscle and bone mass density. The authors highlighted that strength and resistance exercise are site-specific, so they only increase muscle and bone mass density in areas the exercises stimulate. So keep that in mind. Obviously, there are several benefits of weight and strength training. Some are just to name a few: increased bone mineral density, increased bone size, protection against bone loss, increased muscle mass, and improved balance and coordination. So regardless of where you're at in your bone health journey, I think that weight lifting and strength training are always beneficial. Eating more vegetables. Now listen up to this, you guys. So Obviously, vegetables provide important vitamins, minerals, and fiber, but there was a 2021 review and they highlighted a positive association between bone mass density and fruit and vegetable consumption, which may be due to the vitamin intake in these fruits and vegetables. The authors also highlighted research suggesting vitamin C intake may improve bone health and protect against osteoporosis. They list the following vegetables as a good source of vitamin C. I'm just going to name a few. Potatoes, which may come as a surprise for many, but potatoes are actually very high in vitamin C. Green or red peppers. I believe green or red peppers, red specifically, I believe those even have more vitamin C than an orange, but don't quote me on that. But there's so many fruits and vegetables with more vitamin C than an orange, and I think a lot of people just think of an orange automatically when they think vitamin C, but even kiwis are very high in vitamin C. Broccoli is even high in vitamin C, and Brussels sprouts. And so think beyond the orange because there are many other fruits and vegetables with vitamin C. The acai, I can't even pronounce it, but it's acai cherry, I believe, or it's a berry or cherry. It looks like a berry, but I think it's called a cherry. It's weird. But that's, I believe, the fruit with the highest vitamin C content. And they even make supplements from that berry for like vitamin C supplements because that's like the best source. But interestingly enough, there was another study and they suggest that consuming fewer than 5 servings of fruits and vegetables per day increases the risk of hip fractures. So just putting it out there, that's what the study said. So eat your fruits and vegetables, you guys. Now, consuming calcium throughout the day. Now, of course, everyone thinks of calcium when they think of bone health, right? So as the bones break down and grow each day, it is essential to get enough calcium. So the best way to absorb calcium is to consume foods containing calcium every day. So getting calcium through the diet is the best way, unless a doctor advises otherwise. I always opt for food when I'm looking for calcium versus a calcium supplement because I think a lot of calcium supplements are very skewed. They come from not really good sources, and also you need to balance that calcium, vitamin D, vitamin K, because taking calcium alone can actually be worse than just not taking calcium. And I'm talking about the calcium pills, because if you're just taking a straight up calcium pills, that can actually calcify certain parts of your body. So you need that vitamin D and vitamin K to help facilitate and get it to the bones versus to calcify other organs and parts of your body. So just keep that in mind. So that's why I always think it's safer to just get calcium through food, because the food that you're getting the calcium from contains everything that you need to absorb the calcium properly, right? I think supplements can be very beneficial. I certainly take them, but I'm very picky and choosy about which types of supplements, what brands, and what they are. Again, so I always opt for if you can't do milk, try yogurt. I think yogurt is the safest dairy because I know there's a lot of people that have dairy intolerances. Maybe you're lactose intolerant. I personally, for some reason, milk and cheese lately have just not been serving me. But yogurt, on the other hand, I eat so much yogurt and it's because it's cultured. So the chemical structure actually changes. You can digest it a lot better. And obviously it contains probiotics. So yogurt and kefir, if you're dairy, quote, dairy sensitive, I would opt for that first if you can't do milk or cheese. But if dairy doesn't bother you, milk and cheese are also great options. Even some leafy greens, beans, and sardines. So don't underestimate the sardine, you guys. All right, so eating foods rich in vitamin D and K. I had just talked about D and K to help facilitate the calcium, right? So Vitamin K2 specifically is essential for bone health. It reduces calcium loss and helps minerals bind to the bones. Foods that contain vitamin K2 include sauerkraut, which is also a cultured food, cheese, and natto, which is a soybean product. And I recently talked about soy and the benefits it has on bone health and overall hormonal health. So check out that episode from just a week ago. All right. So vitamin D, it helps the body absorb calcium, right? People with vitamin D deficiencies have a higher risk of losing bone mass. So get that vitamin D, you guys. A person can absorb vitamin D through moderate sun exposure, right? I think that's pretty well known. And without sufficient vitamin D, a person has a higher risk of developing bone disease such as osteoporosis or even osteopenia, which is the precursor of osteoporosis. So maintaining a moderate weight is very important. So a moderate weight is essential for bone density. People with that are underweight have a higher risk of developing bone disease, but also overweight and obesity puts an additional stress on the bone. So you really have to find that sweet spot, because if you have too much weight, that can also wreak havoc on your body and overall bone health. So you really do have to find that middle ground here. Doctors recommend people avoid rapid weight loss and cycling between weight gaining and losing weight. So if you're always like up and down, gaining, losing. So a person loses weight, they can lose bone density too. But gaining back the weight will not restore bone density. So keep that in mind. So if you're like, well, I recently went through a stressful period in my life. I lost a bunch of weight. If I just gain it back, then my bones are good. So that's sadly just not the case. So this reduction in density can lead to weaker bones. So I'm seeing this happen in people using Ozempic because they are losing weight pretty fast, and osteoporosis is even listed as one of the main side effects from Ozempic. There are other and safer ways to lose weight, and honestly, there are cheaper ways too. It's not worth the risk of all the side effects of Ozempic. And with osteoporosis, that's just one of them. There's so many other side effects from using Ozempic. So I really encourage you guys to look for safer alternatives. And honestly, you guys, in case you don't know, Ozempic, the GLP-1, there's other ways to mimic that and to, what's the word I'm looking for? But wake up that receptor in your body. And you want to know the secret? I'm just going to tell you right now. It's protein. Okay. In fact, I believe the company, it was Ensure, which I believe is owned by Nestle. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure Nestle owns Ensure. But Ensure came out with this quote, GLP-1 shot, like Ozempic, not a shot that you inject, but like a drink shot. And whatever, it was like 4 ounces or 2 ounces or something. And they're saying it's helping. And it's like the Ozempic little drink shot. And do you know what the first and main ingredient in this thing is? It's whey protein, you guys. Okay? So get some whey protein or eat some Greek yogurt. That's like a 2-for-1 if you want to have a moderate weight, get weight off. You're getting your calcium, you're getting your protein, and you may even lose weight. Who knows? So get some Greek yogurt, whey protein, and go from there. All right. And it's also cheaper. Okay. Rant over. Going back to the whole bone situation here. Avoid a low-calorie diet. So super low-calorie diets can lead to health problems, including bone density loss. So before restricting calories, please discuss calorie needs with a qualified healthcare professional, such as your primary care doctor or a registered dietitian, to determine a safe target number of calories to consume. Obviously, everyone has different needs and different calorie needs as well. You may be more sedentary than your neighbor who is a triathlon and does X, Y, and Z workouts, right? Or just in different periods of your life. I know that I was going through a very stressful time in my life. this was actually even very recently, and I just noticed that I was not consuming enough calories because of the stress that I was experiencing in my life. And I was consuming like the typical, like just average calories, but because of the stress, my body was burning more of it and I wasn't consuming enough, not realizing that like my body was just naturally burning more from the stress. And so there's like different periods in your life where you're like, man, maybe I need to consume, like maybe you're pregnant and you need to consume, or just maybe, again, maybe you stopped working out and maybe your body doesn't require that many calories. All that to say, again, kind of a major rant here, but everyone is different. So just because your best friend is consuming X calories doesn't mean that you need to be doing the same. Maybe you need more, maybe you need less. So again, always focus on yourself. Don't look at others. Any diet needs to balance protein, fats, vitamins, and minerals for optimum health. And this also applies to, again, like I had mentioned, pregnant women, because they may think they are getting enough calories, but in fact, they are starving themselves because the nutrients they intake first goes to the baby, then any surplus goes to the mother. So if the mother is not consuming enough calories as well as proper nutrition, this bone loss may happen to the mother. And don't just think that the mother can eat a tub of ice cream and meet her calories for the day. Calories do matter, but nutrients matters too. So Americans are overfed, but undernourished. I'm going to say that again. Most Americans are overfed, but undernourished. All right, let that sink in. Eating more protein, that's another tip. So protein plays an essential role in bone health and bone density. There was a 2022 cross-sectional study, and they examined bone mass and dietary protein intake over 1,500 adults. These were older adults, not just average, but these were older adults. And they found an association in higher bone mass density with higher intakes of protein. That's just one study to note, but there are many others, of which I won't bore you with. But I think we all can agree protein plays a critical role in overall health, including our bones. Eating more foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids. Okay, so research suggests that omega-3 fatty acids play a role in maintaining bone density and overall bone health. Omega-3s are present in a variety of foods, such as salmon. I think we all think of omega-3, like we all think of salmon when we think of omega-3s, but nuts have omega-3s, especially walnuts, mackerel, and certain seeds. I always recommend consuming these fatty acids through diet over supplements, because most, if not all, omega-3 supplements are rancid oils that have been oxidated, which is what typically causes that fishy burpy smell if you ever have taken a fish oil supplement. I personally don't even take omega-3 pills. And I just opt for Fatty 15, which I talk about all the time. This Fatty 15, it's actually vegan and it's not oxidized, nor does it even have the capability of being oxidized. And it has been shown in several studies, study after study, to be superior to that of fish oil capsules. So, of course, if consuming the fresh, like omega-3s from eating salmon or sardines, that's great. I'm not saying don't eat them, but try to get those omega-3s if you're trying to do so through like the fish or the nuts or the seeds, etc. But when choosing a supplement, I do suggest looking into Fatty 15 instead. And my code is DIGEST if you guys want 15% off. Again, it's vegan. There's so many amazing benefits from Fatty 15. We even had the owner and she's the owner, but she's the one that discovered it. Like, this is amazing. And it's an essential fatty acid, come to find out. It's like it's gone under the radar. So this is like considered an essential fatty acid. So Fatty 15, code DIGEST, shameless plug here. It's an amazing product. So eat foods rich in magnesium and zinc. So just like calcium, magnesium, and zinc are minerals that support bone health and density, magnesium helps activate vitamin D so it can promote calcium absorption. Zinc also, this zinc exists actually in the bones already and promotes bone growth and helps prevent the bones from breaking down. But if you are depleting your body of these minerals, your body will then start to pull them from your bones, making them weak and brittle. So make sure your body never needs to do this by constantly fueling your body with foods rich in magnesium and zinc. Now, avoid heavy drinking. In moderation, alcohol consumption may not significantly affect a person's bone health. However, long-term heavy drinking can lead to poor calcium absorption and a decrease in bone density and the development of osteoporosis later in life. And I personally just think avoiding alcohol in general has many other benefits beyond just bone health and bone loss prevention. So I don't need to go into that today, but knowing my listeners, I already have a feeling you are well aware. So I know you guys are smart people here. So I think the question stands for a lot of people is it too late to build bone density? Like once you lose it, is it gone forever? You can't gain it back. I've had several experts on the show, multiple experts about bone loss and bone density, and they said that's actually a myth. If you have lost your bone density, you actually can gain it back through different means. So there's hope here, you guys. So, keep trying. Now, of course, the best time to influence peak bone mass and build bone density is from childhood to early adulthood. People can take steps at every age, though, to improve bone health and reduce bone density loss. And I know people in their 70s that have been able to increase their bone density or at least stop their bone loss from getting worse. You guys, this is crazy. This is great news. So, it's never too late to take charge of your health, and I never want to make anyone feel they are at a loss or it's too late. God put so many things here on earth for us to utilize for good, and we have sadly misused them in negative ways, but we have also been able to use them in positive ways. And thankfully, there is plenty of research to confirm and guide us in the direction we need to take. So I hope this bite of knowledge today was helpful, inspiring, educational, and I wish you all the best in your health journey. Please share it with someone who you may think can benefit from this episode, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for listening to this episode of Digest This. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review in your podcast app to let us know. If you're ever wondering how you can support me and this podcast, sharing it with your friends and family is the best way. This is a Wellness Loud production produced by Drake Peterson and edited by Mike Fry. To check out more shows by my team, go to wellnessloud.com, and to email the show, message us at digestthispod@gmail.com. See you next time. The content of this show is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not a substitute for individual medical and mental health advice and does not constitute a provider-patient relationship. As always, talk to your doctor or health team first.
Are you looking to reclaim your health? Tune into the Real Foodology podcast, hosted by me, Courtney Swan, integrative nutritionist and real food activist. I am on a mission to transform our food system by challenging the corrupt practices that undermine our health and replace them with choices that genuinely support our well-being. Listen to Real Foodology podcast on your favorite podcast app. New episodes every Tuesday.